What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday, August 30th. Welcome back to Off the Woodwork podcast, your soccer betting podcast here on the Face Off Sports Network. We are back for week 2. Pavlos, Kenny, and myself. Boys, started off the year. New name, new logo, same winning. Plus 2.8 units week 1. Started off really hot. I think we swept on Friday and cooled off a little bit towards the end, but positive is positive. Happy to be back with you guys. Holiday weekend here in the U.S. What's going
Holiday.
on?
What
We have
holidays in the US?
Labor Day. Labor Day is Monday, so it's like
okay.
federal holiday for all the workers to be off and most stores closed.
Nice.
So excited for that. Kenny, how we feeling, brother?
I had 2 winners on corners. The other 2 bets that I had did not come in. Naturally, I'm inclined to take approaches that I see Pablo's smirking up there. I don't blame him whatsoever because I did end up giving out a loser on corners in the Icelandic game last week. It's just been one of those. It's been a weird start, like we had Champions League qualifiers midweek, and we were talking about it before the show started. I had an over and in the Malmo game, 2 missed penalties, and it's one of those. If you take the under, those you feel like those penalties go in. It's
Yeah.
I'm already kind of ready for a little bit of a reset. This is actually I wanted to point out to the viewers that this is the we already got an international break coming, guys.
Yeah. None too soon, really. I mean, I think what you're saying is kind of true. These teams have all cross leagues. I don't care what it is. Obviously, you mentioned the European qualification in the middle of the week. It's still August, right? So you have some teams playing twice a week, 3 times in less than 10 days. It's a lot. So, maybe a break is needed from that standpoint. A lot of teams across all leagues have really just not gotten off to the start that they had hoped for. And we're not talking about difficult matches either. We're talking about, a top 3 team playing a bottom 3, bottom 4 side, and bottom 4 side walking away with points. Real Madrid yesterday, perfect example. I think we were all on them to win. I think they had 25 shots. They had an expected goals of like 2.9. They only get 1 goal. Their second draw in 3 games, right? Mbappe, no goals in the league. Tough to, these guys are human. It's tough to handicap for this shit, but it happens, right? So I think it's the same message we try to deliver every week. Just trust in yourself. But these guys, it's going to take them a little time to get going. Just like if you're losing some bets right now, if you had a couple bad days in a row, it might take you a little while to get going. That's just the way it is. Trust the process. 60 plus units from this group last year across the entire season. So, one week or 2 weeks isn't going to change that, right? Let's just carry on. But you hit the nail on the head, Kenny. International break, so maybe one last spot for us to either see what we're expecting out of some of these sides, or maybe we see more of the same out of them and they get a chance to reset with 7, 8, 9 days off. Definitely interested to see what happens. But Pavlos, I don't know if you agree with my rant right there. How are you feeling coming into this week?
I totally agree. It's been tough to get, many good looks. There are several reasons why, as you said, this, first of all, most of these are millionaires. They were in fucking Mykonos drinking cocktails about a month ago. So some of them are still dreaming about, the blue waters and the tzatziki they ate in Mykonos, or the cocktail, or the supermodel they screwed. But yeah, it's also we have to take into consideration that the transfer window is still open.
Yeah.
So there are teams that haven't finalized their rosters. Although I do think in the next couple of days, most of the windows are going to close. So there's teams that are still looking for a striker, for example, or looking for a left back because they got an injury or because the guy is overweight. It's not a period where, when you're trying to cap, you see, for example, something that looks like a tremendous opportunity, and then you take it and then it doesn't hit. And there are reasons why it doesn't hit, because the books are kind of overreacting on certain situations. So you have to take this slow in the first few match days, And of course, there's European matches that also complicate it even further. But yeah, since you talk about the international break, there are a couple of spots that we will discuss in the show where I'm looking at teams that are under pressure in the sense that they haven't won. Some of them haven't even scored a goal yet after 3 matches. I'm talking about Espanyol in the La Liga. So by logic only, you see their schedule coming back from the international break. Some of these have like a really tough schedule. They have Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, and Atletico Madrid all in the next 5 matches or so. So you know that they're gonna go 110% this week because they want to get some points before the international break. Because if they don't get any points now, then they have all these strong teams to face, and they might get involved in relegation scenarios early on in the season. So hang tight. We're gonna dissect some of these games and try to find some value.
For sure. As we always do. So Kenny, we want to start with you. You told us you came out of the gate absolutely fucking hot with your corner bets. We may agree at times, we may disagree and give you some shit at others, but the plays that you give out, the logic is always there. You've been super hot with corner bets, especially on this show. Let us know what you got, because I know there's one that starts today.
Yeah, we're looking at Fenerbahce minus 3.5 corners. Fenerbahce is one of those teams in Turkey. It's Turkey Super League. There's only 2 of them in there that you can say, well, if they're playing an inferior side, they're probably going to come out with, anywhere from 18 to 22 shots. The opposition's probably going to end up with only 3 or 4 shots. Going to be a red card in there from somewhere. Hopefully it's not the team that we're on, because as Pavlos has alluded to many times, it is a league that's always good for a red card. Minus 3.5 was minus 110. It has moved up to as high as minus 130 in some places. The number between minus 2.5, minus 3.5 is always like, when I get a team that's minus 400 on the money line, you're expecting the away side to. They're playing for a draw. They'd be happy to go in there and leave with 1 point. Alanya Sport actually did that last year, going to Fenerbahce. The corner count was 9-1. The previous year, Fenerbahce won 3-0, and the corner count was 12-2. This is just one of those teams. They're going to create corners. They're going to be an attack-minded squad. They always have been. I'm going minus 3.5 corners.
Yeah, I like it. Be cautious in Turkey, but it definitely seems like a mismatched line, especially at the minus 110, even up to minus 130. We've seen much chalkier lines, so definitely like that. I got a game in Italy I want to talk about. That is today as well. Kicks off the weekend of a lot of big head-to-head matches in Serie A. Inter Milan at home, taking on Atalanta. And I just want to toss up these odds to you and get your thoughts, guys, before I go into my play. Inter Milan, yes, they're at home, minus 195 on the money line. Atalanta, plus 450. This is a team that made top 4 last year. This is a team that won the Europa League, the only team that beat Bayer Leverkusen last year. They came out of the gates week 1, 4-0 win. Last week, tough 2-1 loss in a loss. One of my plays last week was Atalanta team total over 1.5. They hit 2 crossbars. They had a penalty kick missed in the 96th minute. Tough to not get the 2 goals. Do you see this line correct? Should Inter be a minus 200 favorite and Atalanta be a plus 450 underdog, or do you guys disagree with the line?
It's a bit weird line in the sense that Atalanta, they did good things last season, but this season they've undergone some changes. They changed their striker, which might be an upgrade. Didn't they get Retegui?
Yeah.
So
3 goals so far this year.
3 goals. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, so Scamacca was just probably a one-hit wonder.
He's hurt. He's still on the team, but he's hurt.
Yeah. Lukman, is he out of the team? I think he was moving
as of today,
somewhere.
still there. He hasn't featured yet because he was about to get transferred, and he's still there as of right now.
Yeah, I mean, Atalanta, they have the same coach, right? They didn't change their coach.
Yep,
It's the
Gasperini.
same,
yeah. Yep.
So even in previous seasons where Atalanta were better, they couldn't beat Inter Milan. Maybe they get maybe a goal or two, but Inter Milan, they should be better. Now, I don't have a say in this match because I don't really follow the Serie A this season. I'm focusing more on the leagues that make me money, and Serie A has been just a big fat disaster in my bank account. So yeah, I definitely see Inter Milan winning this one. If the spread is 3/4 of a goal, yeah, you can take it. -1, yeah, you can take it. Worst case scenario, they win by exactly one, and it's a push. But yeah, I see that happening.
Kenny, what do you think?
I always hate it when I miss lines I would have wanted earlier in the week. -0.75 was playable. I think I saw it as low as -122. If I had to take a guess now, with them being -200, I bet you that -0.75 is probably -145. That's a little steep for me. You can take the -1. I mean, it's just one of those things. I don't like the -1 if it doesn't work for me. I like the -0.75 because I like getting half the cash in a win. I don't see them losing. I don't even see this being a draw. It's one of those situations where I could see this being 2-0 late, Inter being in control, and Atalanta find a goal out of nowhere. Might end up pushing on the one, but do I see a draw happening here? No, I do think Inter win this match, even without Lautaro Martinez playing.
See,
You know
now,
what? Yeah,
go ahead.
Nick.
No, see, and I was going to advocate for the other side because I think Atalanta +1.25 at it's -135. It's on the edge, but I see them keeping it close. They've scored, obviously, a ton of goals so far. Inter hasn't looked good. Inter's defense, they gave up 2 goals to Genoa. I think they kept a clean sheet last week, but I mean, the defense has been shaky. They haven't scored a ton yet. Lautaro is still hurt. So that's a big miss for this game. I think Atalanta keep it close, man. Because the line has shifted so much, +1.25 doesn't look bad to me. But I mean, Pavlos, you were going to make a point.
Yeah, exactly that. In 4 of the last 5 head-to-head matches, Atalanta lost by exactly 1 goal. The problem is that the last time they met in this venue, they lost 4-0. But in the 4 matches prior to that, they lost by exactly 1 goal. So if you get that +1.25 goal, maybe it could hit. Maybe it's a half win. But what happens if Atalanta score a goal? Then Inter Milan would need 2 or 3 to cover. So for you to not win anything in this match, to lose this bet. Whenever I see -1 for the home side, I either take the -1 as a free hit, but sometimes I take Inter Milan to win by exactly 1 goal. Of course, I lower my stake to like a half unit or a quarter unit because the odds on Inter Milan, for example, to win by exactly 1 goal are +225. So if there's different, just moved up to +230. Yeah, I definitely see. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this match because I don't have something. I can't really say anything. I'd be wrong either way.
Yeah. Listen, I think we're divided. I think we're just trying to have not even necessarily divided. I don't know that anybody came in strong one way or the other. I just wanted to toss it up because the game is today. But this is the conversation we like to have on the show, right? There's the Kenny will tell you, I know it's your favorite thing to say, like the difference in that quarter of a goal, one way or the other. That makes everything, right? Because 3 days ago, Inter Milan -0.75 is a surefire bet. Today, close to match time, it can be completely the opposite.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's a whole half a goal going from 0.75 to 1.25. And the other thing, I'm not knocking Nick's bet whatsoever, but here's the other thing I'm going to throw out there. You're playing Genoa first game of the season. Genoa, as we know last year, even though I didn't follow an awful lot of Serie A, I know Genoa was one of those teams that they could pull a result from a really good team.
Last summer.
Yes, they fucked Pavlos. They probably fucked me at one point. I was trying to keep it clean, but
no.
Long story short, the difference between home and away form, I will sing it until I'm blue in the face. Inter were away the first week against Genoa. They were home against Lecce. What happens? 2-0. Lecce come up with something like less than 0.35 expected goals. I'm not saying that's what Atalanta are going to be held to, but I would take a guess that that's probably a reason for some of this line movement.
Yeah, and listen, I'll say it again. Vertegi, he has 3 goals so far this year. He scored in both games. He's plus 300. I'm not saying he scores a goal, but that's just kind of a silly number.
You can take his shots. If he's at plus 300 to score any time, you can maybe pivot to taking just one shot on target or something.
Yeah, I think 1 shot on target was chalky. I think 2 shots on target, though, was like plus 180, plus 190, something like that. So just something to consider. Only thing I'm trying to say, I think that this line isn't necessarily giving Atalanta enough respect. So food for thought on today's game. If you're thinking about betting it, does kick off at 2:45 Eastern time here in the States.
You know what? One final thought: if Inter Milan allowed Lecce 10 shots, Inter Milan had 11 shots. Lecce had 10 shots. Inter Milan had 3 shots on target. Lecce had 4 shots on target. So if they allow Atalanta, with all the offensive firepower they have up front, the same amount of shots, they're going to be in trouble for sure. So yeah, I definitely see Atalanta plus 1.25. It's not a terrible bet. I mean, we've made more terrible bets over the years, but this is not such a terrible bet.
Hold on, I've convinced him. Are we gonna put it in?
Yeah, sure. It's a long season. We can turn it around earlier.
All right. Atalanta.
If we see a weakness in Inter Milan's defense, we might as well throw 1 unit on it.
There you go. All right. It is minus 135 over on DraftKings. So definitely shop the line. I wouldn't play it any higher than that, quite honestly. If you can get in that minus 130 range or better, obviously play it. If it's minus 140, leave it alone. But we got it, and we're going to play it.
All right.
Kenny. No, Pavlos. Kenny gave out a bet already. Pavlos, I'll go to you, man. What's your first play of the weekend?
I also have a play today. It's in Argentina. Kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern. Unión Santa Fe versus Deportivo Riestra. If you look at the stats, Unión Santa Fe are coming off a 5-1 loss to Tigre. Tigre are one of the teams that are battling relegation. So it was on the road for Unión Santa Fe, and just keep in mind that Unión Santa Fe are sitting at the 4th spot of this league, so they're doing pretty well. They've played 12 matches, so if we leave the one that they lost 5-1 out of the equation, they played 11 matches and they conceded 5 goals in those 11 matches. So they conceded in one match all the goals that they had conceded through the entire season leading up to now. So yeah, and that match was on the road against a team that is battling relegation. So relegation in Argentina is a total fuck up. They're counting the points that they earned in the 3 previous competitions. So there's a coefficient there. It's not what you see in the league table. It's much more complex than that. I'm not going to get into it, but they were playing on the road against a team that is battling relegation. So take that result with a grain of salt, because now they're coming back home where they've been actually quite good. They have 5 wins and 1 draw in 6 matches. They've scored 9 goals, conceded just 1. And that draw actually was against River Plate, who are probably one of the best teams in Argentina. So now they're back at home. They're playing against Deportivo Riestra, who, again, if you look at their recent results, they have 4 wins. They have 4 wins and 2 losses in the last 6 matches. However, if you look closely, all 4 wins came at home, where Deportivo Riestra are actually the best team in the league at home. They have 6 wins and 1 loss in 7 matches. But on the road, they're the exact opposite. They have 0 wins, 0 draws, 5 losses, 3 goals scored, 11 conceded. So I want to take Unión Santa Fe money line at minus 130.
Yes.
No, it moved a little bit. Let's say minus 135. Minus 135 for Unión Santa Fe to beat Deportivo Riestra in Argentina tonight. And that's it for me.
I love it. I'm ready. Let's go.
Right.
Kenny, what else you got?
We're going to go right into I'm actually going to have 2 bets on this game. We'll start out with the straight bet. So earlier this week, I touched on it with you guys. Bayern Munich minus 3.5 corner handicap was minus 134 on Bet Rivers. That has now moved to minus 207 on Bookmaker. That's 80-cent move. Corner markets do tend to be a lot more sensitive especially because some books release lines as early as a week in advance. Other books don't release it till sometimes as late as 2 or 3 days before kickoff. I'm going to go the -4.5 route at -106. Bet Rivers. The -3.5 on Bet Rivers is it's a fringe. It's on a fringe number. It's -162. I say that because as I just mentioned, the -3.5 on bookmakers, -207. I'm trying to get the Heritage Sports right now. I believe that number is -200. When you see value, it's not always based on, well, does it have to be in a -110, -105? If you see a number that's -170 and other places you see it -250, -260, you're going to assume that eventually that number is going to move in alignment with where it is at other places. So if you see a -170, but you believe it should be -250, I'm not going to say you should always play it as a straight bet. I mean, I ain't going to lie to you. What I do away from this show, I'm a degenerate just like the rest of you that are watching this show. I have no problem playing a -162, as I probably will, but the show play is -4.5. If it comes back and it lands on 4, like I'll be talking about it next week, more than likely. But
You'll be fuming.
yeah, just I want to put a little perspective on the statistics last year. So Freiburg at home when they played Bayern Munich, 17 shots, 1.52 expected goals. I've already talked about the home and away differential. Freiburg away from home last season, 21 shots allowed, 2 shots, 0 on target, 0.05 expected goals. 7 outcornered 7-1. That was with Bayern having 2 goals in the first 25 minutes. Freiburg had 10 less goals away from home last season. Somehow they were top 7 or 8 in the league table, even though they had a -11 goal differential. I don't know how they managed to pull that off. Hopefully they can keep this close for a while, but we know what Bayern does, especially at home. Good for 60 to 65% possession. They outcorner teams because teams are happy going to Bayern, playing for a draw. They're going to send everything out of bounds. They have to defend corner kicks. Like I don't care if the shot total is 25-6, 0-0 in the 85th minute. In fact, actually, that's what I want because that means Bayern is probably up 13 corners to 1. But Bayern minus
What's the
4.5.
line again?
Bayern -4.5. Well, you know what? I'll take a little bit of a vote here. I want to see what you guys think. 4.5 is -106. As I already mentioned, -3.5 is -207 on Bookmaker. The line on Bet Rivers is -162. That's a 45-cent difference.
Sorry, what's the question? I'm sorry, when I hear corners, man, sometimes I phase out.
If it was
to me,
-150, Kenny, I would say yes. 162 is tough.
It's high. To put it into perspective
at that
as well,
point, what's -2.5 and use it as a parlay piece?
-2.5 is -250, and it's funny you mentioned that because the other one of my parlays, -245, is actually a Bayern corner route that I will be talking about a little bit. But I think we're going to go with the -4.5 and just hope it doesn't land on 4.
All right, -106. It's in. It's locked in.
You can't, no bucksies.
Yeah, we're in, dude. And that's, I think you brought up a good point, man. Right off the show, we all have our silly bets. Other sports, if you're new to soccer, if you came in watching this because you follow Face Off Sports Network and you're doing regular NFL football, college football, all the other shit that they're doing, this sport has so much nuance to bets. Money line, there's 2 different money lines. Spread, there's 2 different spreads. There's team props, there's everything you could think of. And we see it a lot with other handicappers, and I'm not here to compare us to any other handicappers on the planet. People have their own strategies, people have their own way of doing things, people are successful. But I would never personally, this is a me thing, I wouldn't take a -140 or a -150. Not that I wouldn't take them. We've all taken them. I would never give out a -150 play as like, oh, this is one of my locks. This is a play. This is this. That's not good advice. That's not a good strategy long term. That's not a good bet to give out. But in this sport, because of the different nuances, because of some of the things you get out of a spread bet, I'll take minus 140. I might take minus 145. I might not even think about it because, and I'm going to use a term I got from Pavlos, and I've never stopped thinking about it when he said it last year on the show. You're in an instance of getting a spread bet at minus 140, you're buying several results. And you said that term, dude, and I swear to God, it's been stuck in my head because it's so correct. Like if you're taking a team at -2 or +2, excuse me, and they're minus 140, yeah, you're laying a little bit more, but they can win the game outright. They can draw the game. They could lose by 1 goal, and they could even lose by 2 goals. And so you can you can lay a little bit extra juice to get those results. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable laying minus 140 for a +2, where any other bet, yeah, of course, I want to be a little bit closer to minus 110 or plus money or whatever the case may be. So sorry, that's a long rant, but Kenny, you kind of started off. You started me off on that tangent. A lot of nuance here. So if you're new to the show, hop in the comments, comment on the link on the post and whatever it is. We're happy to answer questions. We're happy to give advice, but I just thought that was worthwhile mention. That's where somebody agrees with me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So what is the corner bet that we are having?
Bayern minus 4.5 corners.
Okay.
-1. And since we're on the game, I've got 2 parlays lined up. I'm going to kick the one right off here. Bayern over 5.5 corners. Liverpool double chance -124. This one you don't even need to cover the 3.5, or 4.5, but we're going to cover the 4.5 because we're going to win both bets. Bayern team total over 5.5 corners. Liverpool double chance at -124. I didn't really like what I saw out of Manchester United. I'm not really impressed with what they've done. I granted it's only but 1 game, but it's extremely hard to see Man United going in here and defeating Real Madrid. With that being said, the price on Liverpool money line is a bit trappy. It's -110. It's actually come down a little bit from the -122. Wouldn't be shocked to see a 1-1 there. I'm going to keep the double chance on side at -124, along with Bayern over 5.5 corners, which they're going to have it in the first half.
I got to play in this game. Let me find this Liverpool game, Liverpool Man United. I want to make sure.
These are usually automatic. Both teams score over. No, both teams score. If you get an over 3, no. Too choky. No.
Where did it go? I don't. Let me find the correct odds here because I don't see it right now. It was -110. I don't know if that's moved. I like more goals to be scored in the second half of this game. Liverpool and Man United sitting at -110. I don't really understand what Man United is doing so far. I think, Kenny, you made a good point. These guys are starting Bruno as their number 9 in like a 4-2-3-1, and he's the guy that's in the middle as a striker. I don't get that. Højlund, I think, is still hurt. Xerxes is new to the league. He's a guy that's not really a forward. I don't really know what's going on with Rashford. Some of these other guys, Garnacho's not really getting starting minutes. Anthony, I don't even know if he's still on the team or not, or what's going on with this guy. I just can't figure out United. I don't think United score a goal in this first half. I think at worst we get a Liverpool 1-0 first half result. I like more goals to be scored in the second half.
Checks out. All the United matches had more goals in the second half. So far in the season, I think, Brighton had more goals in the second half against the full. Hey, listen, if it's a goalless draw in the first half and there's just 1 goal in the second half, everybody's going to lose their tickets on the overs or whatever, but you're going to win with just 1 goal. So that's one of the nice, sneaky little ways that you can bet in soccer. And you don't even have to care how many goals they're scored. And sometimes, there's 2 goals in the first half, and then you say, oh, no, my bet is killed. But then all hell breaks loose in the second half. They score 3-4 goals, and you still win it. So there is a lot of different ways to win this bet, and I like it.
Thank you. And because you were so nice, you get to tell us the next bet.
I'm gonna stick to the EPL. I like the over 2.5 goals in Everton Bournemouth.
I do too.
Everton. Yeah, I mean Everton. They're 3-0 to the over 2.5 goals so far. Although one of them was a midweek match in the EFL Cup. They started the Premier League with a couple of losses: 3-0 at home to Brighton, then 4-0 on the road against Tottenham. And then there is the international break, and that's what I was talking about before. After the international break, they go at Aston Villa, which is a really tough venue to go. So if they don't get any points against Bournemouth, let alone if they lose, they're probably going to lose to Aston Villa as well. And they're going to be caught up in relegation scenarios really early in the season. So they do have a big incentive to beat one of the teams that are not, they're bottom half teams, maybe relegation candidates. So that's for the Everton side. That's for Bournemouth. They're actually 0-3 to the over 2.5 goals, or 3-0 to the under 2.5 goals. But the match against Nottingham Forest, I mean, it had an early goal. Based on stats alone, I think they should have had 3 goals. Then again, against Newcastle, they forced a 1-1 draw. That match had combined expected goals of 4. Almost 4. So that 1-1 draw was really weird. Then they lost to West Ham in the EFL Cup midweek. But here's the thing: Bournemouth. Wait, let me check their schedule. Bournemouth, after the break, they're hosting Chelsea. Then they go to Liverpool. Then they have 2 easy matches against Southampton and Leicester. Then they host Arsenal. Then they go to Aston Villa, and then they host Manchester City. So by the same logic, if they don't get any points against Everton, they might get caught up in relegation scenarios. And last and final point is that there's always, not always, usually goals between the two sides. Both head-to-head matches last season, they both had 3 goals, 2-1 and 3-0. And if you look back up until since 2017, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 2 to the over 2.5 goals. So this matchup that traditionally features goals. Again, by the logic that these two teams, they absolutely need points. If, for example, the match is at 1-1, nobody's going to settle for a draw. We're going to go out in front and search for a winner. And if it's either side is 2-0, the other team is not going to back down because, again, they need the points. So I like the over in this match, over 2.5 goals. The odds, -120, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Yeah. I'll take the over here.
I like that a lot. I'm with you. I also sneakily like Everton to get something out of this game. They're 0-2. They need a win.
Your boy Beto scored in the midweek match.
Oh, did he? Oh, good for him. Oh, it's like maybe his third career goal for. There we go. Hard work. I got to check it out. I have to update my tracker.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. I think Everton draw no bet. It's not a play for the show, but like it seems to me like a game that Everton is gonna win at home based on nothing. They need it, right? Everything Pavlo said, they absolutely need to win. I think they're scoring a goal in this game 100%. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Everton win this game, but I'm with you. Over 2.5 is the play in this game. And shout out Beto. I'm going to update the tracker as soon as we're off the show.
Times trying 63 goals.
Yeah, that's it.
2.5 or 3. I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky Premier League slate. I don't think I have something else in mind. Actually, I like Chelsea -1. I might be crazy. I might be absolutely bonkers. But on Sunday, they're hosting Crystal Palace. Yeah, I mean, they always seem to beat Crystal Palace no matter how much they suck. Actually, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 straight wins against Crystal Palace. And some of them are by 2 goals or more. And they looked pretty scary in that 6-2 against Wolves. Palmer and Madueke, they ripped a new hole to that Wolves backline.
Yeah.
By the way, Mosquera got carded.
Hold my pants down.
Yes, he did. Plus 195, sir.
Yeah.
Plus 195.
What happened to your pants, Kenny?
Chelsea pulled my pants down. I had Wolves plus 1.5. I was going to try to avoid but I tweeted it. Shout out to Chelsea for pulling my pants down and not apologizing.
Yeah, so I think they win this one. They lost to Servette actually midweek, but it was
Yeah,
a
they did.
match. I mean, I would love Servette to score another one and send this match to extra time just for the chaos of it. But yeah, Chelsea rotated.
It was a
Some
controlled
players,
loss.
yeah, but it could
Well
have
put.
shocked them. But yeah, Crystal Palace, some growing pains after the changes in the offseason. But they do have some nice players. Maybe this is a both teams to score, but I think Chelsea should be able to get actually mark it down.
Yeah,
Fuck it,
fuck yeah.
mark it down. -1. Yeah, actually, it's as plus money. Maybe we can take minus 0. No, -1. Free hit. It's at plus money. Yeah. Even money.
Plus what?
Plus
Even
100.
money? Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Cool. What do you think about cards? Crystal Palace over 2.5 cards is plus 105.
I want to check the referee stats real quick. Gillette. Who the fuck is Gillette? Jared Gillette.
Sounds like somebody that's going to give out some cards.
8 cards, 4 cards, 2 cards. Let's see. Why do they have a New Zealand? Wait. Am I reading this right? Yeah. They have a coach from New Zealand for some reason. Yeah, he always seems to give cards. You want to get what? The cards for what?
Crystal
Crystal
Palace
Palace?
over 2.5.
Give me just 10 seconds. See, Crystal Palace, they got 2 cards against Norwich in the cup. They got 1 card against West Ham.
Okay.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards on the road against Brentford. Could be.
It's a team to me that no matter what with Crystal Palace, I never get them right. They look fucking awesome one week. They look terrible the following week. They beat Chelsea out of nowhere. They lose to Nottingham Forest. Like, I just can't make sense of them. Cards apparently is exactly the same thing. 0 1 week, 5 the next. So leaving it alone. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Maybe Lerma to get a card because as I was looking at the recent matches for Palace, Lerma got a card in the cup match midweek. He also got a card last week against the West Ham at home. And the last time these two met, Crystal Palace versus Chelsea won 3-1. Lerma got carded again. So
plus 150.
Plus 150. Just an afterthought. It's not an official play, just an afterthought.
Okay. All right, Kenny, anything else in the Premier League?
Yeah, I'm gonna take I gotta go with it. This is gonna be a degenerate game. I'm gonna let you know right now. You're not gonna be able to find this on any regulated state books. Not gonna be able to find it on Bookmaker. But basically, every offshore is gonna have it, but Bookmaker. I don't know why they don't have the Serbian Superliga. You should probably have an idea of where I'm going right now. There's only 2 teams I'm gonna take right now in that league. Red Star Belgrade. I love the fact that they were able to come from behind against Bodo. They've got 4 days rest. Very, very rarely you might find them 1 to 3 times a year that their money line is going to be a parlay piece. I'm parlaying them with Manchester City money line -110. You're getting on those odds. Manchester City money line with Red Star Belgrade or Cervena Zaveda money line. You might see them on your book.
No.
The price on them is normally going to be -400, -450, even away from home. But this is a team that dominates that league. They are going to finish top of the table by at least probably 15 to 20 points. Partizan Belgrade is on a downward spiral. They continue to show in, week out, even Europa League. It doesn't matter if it's Europa League. They take 75 minutes to score against teams they're -400 to. It's going to be they're going to finish top of the table by at least 15 points.
I like it.
Both teams are away. That is why the odds are -110, but I do like our chances here.
I'm with you. I got to play in Italy if anybody's interested. The other Milan team taking on Lazio. And that is tomorrow, 12:30. There will absolutely be goals in this game. Both of these teams have shit defense. They've not looked good. Milan gave up 2 goals to Torino. Milan gave up 2 goals to Parma. I want to say, or I forget who it was. Whoever it was last week. I
Parma,
expect Lazio. Yeah, Parma, right? I expect Lazio to get a goal in this game. I kind of expect Milan to get 2 goals. Both teams to score is a little too chalky, so over 2.5, minus 120. I'd be really, really shocked if this doesn't come through. Wait for lineups with Milan because I know the striker situation's a little weird, but they could score 1.5 themselves. So I don't mind a Milan team total, but I like the over 2.5 at minus 120.
It's funny you should mention their seat difference. And I was looking at the results. You said, okay, they conceded 2 to Parma, 2 to Torino. I said, okay, let's see what they did in the friendlies. They conceded 1 to Monza, 2 to Barcelona, 2 to Manchester City, 1 goal to Rapid Vienna, 5 goals to Roma. They did keep a clean sheet. And do you know who they kept a clean sheet against? Real fucking Madrid.
Yeah.
And if you look back to last season, there's like 20 matches here. They only kept clean sheets against Real Madrid and Juventus for whatever reason. And they conceded 3 goals to Torino, 3 goals to Salernitana, 3 goals to Genoa. I mean, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, definitely looks like an over. But Lazio, they've given me PTSD. Lazio, they
try being a fan.
Yeah, no. Lazio beat Auronzo by 23-0 in the first friendly of the season.
Yeah,
it was like a pizza place in.
I saw that. I did see that.
Oh man, yeah. Good luck with that, Nick. You're gonna need it.
Yeah, over 2.5. Come on, it's a no doubter in this game. I love my favorite, very, very, very favorite thing on this show because there's some plays we talk about beforehand, but there's some that we don't. I love when I give out a play and you guys like back me up. There's no better feeling on the planet than when that happens. So thank you.
I mean, I'm a stats guy, right? So stats say that they just can't keep clean sheets. Maybe they keep clean sheets against like a super good team, and Lazio are not one of the super good teams. Yeah, they're decent, okay, but yeah, I think they keep clean sheets against the good teams because they tend to not want to lose. And if the team is within their reach, to beat them, they're not going to stay back and defend. So that's, logically speaking, both teams will go out and look for the win. So yeah, it checks out. The over 2.5 checks out. Unless there's like a red card in the 5th minute or something.
Of course. I mean, that's shit we can't handicap.
Yeah.
With our luck, it's going to happen at least once. I think we get it at least once a weekend that, there's a red card that fucks a bet.
Unless we bet on the red card.
Nah, not bad.
Maybe we should throw like 1/4 of a unit in all our plays in red cards.
The game I like it in? I don't know necessarily if I like the red card bet, but I like a game to have a penalty kick. Juventus Roma. I have to find the odds on it for a penalty kick to be awarded. I was looking at it earlier in the week. I feel like Juventus get a penalty kick in this game 100%. Like Roma's back line is a disaster. You got fucking Chris Smalling back there. You got Mancini back there. Indica, I'm not sure if he's hurt or not or what the situation is. Cristante is a hack in the midfield. Paredes is a fucking hack in the midfield. Like, I just feel like Juve have looked good so far. They're going to get a penalty kick. Just straight vibes on that play.
Let me see. I think MGM has penalty props, or used to have last season. Let's see. It's in Juventus Roma. Let's see the odds on the penalty kick. No odds on the penalty kick. Wait, let me see if my book has it, just for a reference. It's not available, of course, in the US, but sometimes they release early lines. We want to go to Italy, and we want to go to Juventus Roma. Special bets. Penalty kick is at plus 210 in my book.
Plus 210.
Yeah, that's a good price. Although we should see the, if you want to say a few words while I research just a little bit the referee.
Yeah, what I'll say is in different books have different bets, right? So plus 210 for a PK to be awarded to me is probably my favorite bet. The one here that I'm looking at on DraftKings is Juventus to score a penalty. So like in my mind, I'm thinking Juve is going to be the one that gets it. Juve to score a penalty is plus 390. I think that's a good value. You're taking away a lot of variables. It's one specific thing to happen, but I would sprinkle a little bit on maybe a quarter unit for Juve. Juve to get a penalty kick and make it. I think that's a solid bet. And also, red card in this game is plus 330. I don't hate that. This could be a spot for a red card. Just food for thought.
The referee
To throw
last
my
season,
2 cents in there.
Please.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for what it's worth, the logic behind this is: do you think 1 out of every 4 times that Juventus plays against Roma in this spot, do they score a penalty kick? I think at least 1 in every 4 times they get awarded a penalty kick. Then it just comes down to making it. So plus 390 seems like an excellent set of odds.
Yeah, I mean, when I bet on it, the odds go exponentially down, right? Because I'm the one on it. But I'm just kidding. Sorry, Pablo, you were going to say.
Yeah, that referee last season, he gave out 17 penalty kicks in 30 matches across all competitions. And
that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's more than 1 every 2 matches, slightly more. So in 18 Serie A matches, 10 penalty kicks. Not a lot of red cards, just 2 in 18. But 10 penalty kicks in 18 matches is definitely, definitely a good referee for penalty kicks. Just looking at his stats from last season alone.
Check your books. If you have one of those plays, and especially if you have penalty kick to be awarded at any time, that's by far my favorite bet. But I think this game is a good spot for it. Anything else you guys have or want to talk about?
I have some plays in Germany.
Hey,
I like Gladbach Pick'em. I like Gladbach Pick'em. Let me check the odds. Used to be minus 107. I'd play that to minus 120. Gladbach, they had a catastrophic season last year. They got some reinforcements in the transfer window. They looked Leverkusen in the eye in match day 1. Yes, they conceded 2 early goals, but they managed to pull even by the 85th minute. Then Leverkusen black magic worked. We were in the chat. We gave that out in the chat. Leverkusen scored a penalty kick. Actually, they missed the penalty kick, and Wirtz, who missed the penalty kick, scored on the rebound in the 11th minute of stoppage time. So Leverkusen Black Magic is still active from last season. But Gladbach, they played a decent match. Yeah, they generated 2.2 expected goals. They allowed 4 expected goals, but that was against Leverkusen. Gladbach looked really good in the friendlies, and they're now away at Bochum. Bochum, they haven't even scored in 2 matches so far. Yes, a small sample, but still they were
terrible last year.
Yeah, they were not that bad at home. But the thing is that they lost some key players. One of them actually joined Gladbach, and it was actually their top scorer, I believe. Wait, let me check. It was Kevin Stogger, 7 goals, 9 assists last season. He was Bochum's top scorer, and he's now at Gladbach. So he knows the weaknesses of his former team. And while we're on the subject, they also lost Asano, who had 6 goals and 1 assist, and they didn't really get players to replace them. So you're giving me Gladbach on a pick'em. I think worst case scenario, it's a draw, and we still get our stake back. I don't think they lose. And for context, last season they blasted them 5-2 at home and 3-1 in this venue, and they won 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last 6. So yeah, I think Gladbach pick'em is I don't think it's a smack play. I've had this in the past where they say, "Oh, Gladbach is a good pick," and then they lose, 3-0. I don't think that's the case here. I think worst case scenario, it's a draw. So give me Gladbach pick'em minus 107. I'd play that to minus 120. And the other one that I like in Germany tomorrow is the over 3.25 goals, which is a split line between the over 3 and the over 3.5. In Frankfurt versus Hoffenheim, this is a matchup that traditionally features a lot of goals. Let me check the stats a little bit because they are pretty crazy. 7-0 run to the over 3.5 goals in the head-to-head. Just one of the last 12 head-to-head matches produced fewer than 3 goals. And the last 7 head-to-head matches had an average of 4.42 goals per match, a total of 31 goals.
Oh.
So I think this is a goal fest. If you take the over 3.25 goals, again, if there's exactly 3 goals, still you only lose half your bet. Hoffenheim can really fuck things up. They can either score 4 goals on the road. Last season, they started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight wins away from home. Then they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches without winning. So it's a really weird team to predict, but I think this match has goals. So give me the over 3.25 goals at minus. It's at plus money actually. And I
Oh,
still play this at minus upward to minus 120, I guess. So that's it for me.
I'm going to be adding one bet. I've actually already made this bet. I wasn't sure if it's going to be a show play because the line did come down, but bookmaker right now minus 110. It is available. This is going to be a corner bet. So like Nick was saying earlier, he likes it when people come on. One of us comes on, we back him up. Luckily for the roasting of me, when I come with a corner bet, I normally get thrown out of the open fire, so I don't really get the same treatment, but it's okay. Rock with
that's
Walker
not
Corner
true.
is going to have 3 of them. I know. I'm only messing around with you guys. So we're going to PSV versus Go Ahead Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. So the money line on this is minus 1250. That should tell you everything you need to know about the home team versus the away team. So in the Netherlands Eredivisie, some of these, when you look at the value of a team, you go on Transfer Market, you can look at the value of any team you want to see. Some of these teams, when you look at PSV and Feyenoord, the value is as much as 30 times the amount of some of these lower teams. Like PSV is something around like 290, 330 million. Go Ahead Eagles, if I had to take a guess, probably 17, 18 million. However, they do defend extremely well. The last 3 head-to-heads that were played with PSV being the home team, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0. PSV 9 corners to 1. PSV 9 corners to 2. PSV 9 corners to 2. The very first game that PSV played at home this season, they played against RKC Waalwijk. They scored 3 goals in the first half. They only won the corners 7-3. With that being said, they did out corner them in the second half 5-1. So it didn't even matter that they had the 3-0 lead because they are just that much better of a team. You know, even bringing substitutes on, they're still better than the team their opponents put out on the field. This Go Ahead Eagles team, they were in contention for a Europa Conference League spot for a little bit last season. They actually went on a crazy home stretch where I think they were unbeaten in like 6 or 7 games. They've always defended well, you know, holding PSV under 4 goals 3 consecutive games. I know it sounds like a lot. Oh, they held them under 4 goals. PSV is neck above better than any other team in this league outside of Feyenoord, Ajax. Actually, I can't even put in that category anymore. Alkmaar. Like I said, under 4 goals each of the last 3 games. Even if PSV has a goal first half, I could see them up 4 corners at the half. Minus 4.5 is minus 110. Bet Rivers right now, minus 4.5 is minus 148. Heritage minus 5 is minus 110. I love the fact that we see a minus 4.5 at minus 110. That's the route that I'm going here.
All right. 3 corner bets for Kenny. We'll see. We'll see next week. We're going to come back and you're either going to be the man or you're going to be slightly well done.
For those that are, you know, new to corner bets, they're a way to take the result out of the game. You know, like there's very many times I've only been doing it for about 11 months. I'm a little over 62% on them right now through almost 70 of them. I had a lot of games where, you know, Arsenal would be the home team, 25 shots to 5. I wasn't getting my goals, but then I'd be seeing the corner count 11-1, 11-2, you know, just different results each game, obviously, but it's just a way to take, you're asking for less. You're hoping that they don't score a bunch of goals in the first half, which most of my losses, it does seem to be the case. Team will score 2 to 3 in the first half, but corners have been good to me so far. I'm going to keep riding that train.
Like Real Madrid example yesterday is a perfect example, right? 1-1 game. Real Madrid, sorry to bring it up because I think we all fucking got stung on it. But, you know, a game where this team has 25 shots, 3x, you know, expected goal. 1-1 draw, so you get burned there, but they won corners by 4. So if you're looking at a
And the
team
line
total
was
corners,
-1.5.
the line was -1.5. So they easily cover the corner line. If you took a team total corner, I think it was 5.5. They cover that. So it's not a bad. I know we give you shit for it, but it's definitely a good spot for finding an edge. Especially where, as we mentioned at the top of this show, these teams come out of the gate really sluggish in the first couple of weeks. It's a good way to not have to worry about them picking up 3 points. So definitely with you there. What do you guys
All
think?
right.
Good for today?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Another 10, 12 picks for you this week. We will look to remain in the positive. Thank you guys for listening. It's been Off the Woodwork, Face Off Sports Network. We will catch you next week.